What's up, my people? I just came from the funeral home. And during those times when you're coming from a funeral home, it could be very draining, it could be disappointing, it could be overwhelming, it could be a lot of questions and fewer answers. But I just came from the funeral home. I wanted to go live to talk about tips that we need when we go to a funeral home. All situation of going to a funeral home is not always a negative thing. It can also be proactive. When I went to the funeral home, I went because I went to set up a pre-burial plan for my brother. First thing I did, I called to find out if someone was going to be available. I called last week to find out if somebody was going to be available today, Monday. Start the week off right, get up and run. So I went there. I was greeted by the funeral director, which I found out was the owner. She went through a lot of series of questions that I didn't know. I didn't know that it's not on your death certificate, but they ask you questions about your occupation and also questions about your education. And they take and compile the list in Minnesota to find out what occupation have level of the highest level of mortality. So that was very, very interesting to me. And then those was they asked you about your family history, your family, how many siblings you have, and all these things is a part of their process to help you when you are waiting, when you are in a place of bereavement, and so grieving. And they ask you these questions so that to see what you want. We talked about cremation. We talked about burial plans. We talked about all of the details that goes into it. So if you, and then also she made a valid point. Family members don't always know how much something costs, and sometimes they think other things have happened where you may have taken money and they don't know the details. I did not know all of the details because when my mom passed away, we had a pre-burial plan. But also it was horrible. People was coming at me like I knew all the answers, coming at me as I should have known all the answers, which I didn't know the answers because just like they was grieving and going through the process of the loss of their mother, my mother, I was also. So I just wanted to jump on here to encourage you to seek out pre-burial information, not just for your family members, but for yourself. So when your time comes, because we all gonna have a time where we will leave this earth, and I know it may sound depressing, but it's reality. So that you can have your pre-burial in place, your health. Also, you have the persons who you may want to be over what happens to you in process, a healthcare directive. And so when it does happen, that they will be grieving, they will be upset, but they don't have to be asked all these questions and have so much information bombarding them because they're suffering with grief. Another thing I found out is I didn't know how much it costs um, for the grounds to be open. There's so many details and wills that's in the process of grave debt, uh, different things that will happen during that time. You know, the food, this, that. Even with the state, it's so much. So I encourage you, for your loved ones, for yourself, that you get out and you make a call and make an appointment so that you can set up an appointment to speak to someone about a pre-burial plan. And that way when it's your time, because I have a pre-burial plan in place, when it's your time, it won't be overwhelmed with your family won't have to be overwhelmed with so many unknown questions and grief. I did it because I didn't want my son to have to go through what I went through. I didn't want him to have to worry about, my mom burial, the insurance. This I gave him a card because I'm getting cremated, and so that's my option. And because in burial expense can be very expensive, and it depends on what you want. So that's a way of doing it early. And then I would like to also upcoming talk about insurance. But that's what I wanted to cover today. And tomorrow I will be back on because I'm going to do this 7-week challenge of coming live every day. So I just wanted to tell you, be proactive, prepare for your family, prepare your debt while you are alive. Blessings to you, and hopefully you will not have to face this soon. I am out of here later.